All right, for the banded hip flexor mobilization, we're gonna need a band that's set up right at about knee height on one of our posts. And what we're gonna do is step our leg inside the band so the band is as high up on that femur bone as possible. So it should be right below your butt cheek. And what you're gonna do is take that banded leg and you're gonna kneel down on a pad. If you have a harder surface that you're working with, a knee pad is definitely a good idea for this mobilization. So as I'm sitting here in this half kneeling position, what we're targeting with this mobilization is my hip flexor muscles, which live on the front side of my hip capsule. So what I want to do in order to target these muscles the best is my posture is going to be the main focus with this mobilization. So the cue that I like using is imagining you're a marionette doll and someone's pulling your head straight up with a string. So you're trying to elongate your spine as much as you can and get as tall as you can here. Now, if you're really tight, you're gonna feel this stretch pretty much immediately. If you're in pretty good shape, you might not feel a really deep stretch just quite yet. So what you're gonna do while keeping that nice tall posture is you're just gonna slide this front knee forward, which will push your hips into that band or towards where the band wants to pull you. And what you should feel is that stretch, again, on the front side of the hip really start to come out. If you're really tight, you may get even like a burning sensation on the front side of your quad. That's not necessarily showing you that something bad is happening, but more so showing you that the muscles on the front side of your quad are extremely tight. If that burning sensation is overwhelming, you can foam roll these quad muscles. I do have a video on foam rolling quad muscles coming out, so you can foam roll through those just to get a little bit of relief. I'm starting to get a little bit of that burning myself because this side tends to be a little bit tighter. As with any mobilizations, we do want to focus on our breathing. So as I start to get used to and start to get comfortable in this position, your body will start to try and find the most comfortable or the easiest way to stay in this position. And we want to try and resist that as much as we can. So again, thinking about that tall posture, sliding forward into the stretch. And then once I'm here, I just want to think about inhaling as big as I can, holding the top of that inhale for a couple of seconds, and then exhaling for as long as I can. Trying to maintain that breathing pattern is going to help tell my body or tell my brain that this stretch feeling is okay, and we can relax and kind of go a little bit deeper into this stretch. Now, as we get better with this stretch, or if you're just somebody who's pretty flexible here, what we can do to turn up the volume is we can step this front foot out in front a little bit further, which will just give us a little bit more room to go forward. As you can see, we're starting to get into almost like a front splits position. So if you have experience with that, you may be pretty good at this mobilization. Now, things I want to be aware of as I spend time in this mobilization is not letting my pelvis twist, right? So what tends to happen here is my hips want to open towards this back leg, which is my body's way of intelligently getting away from this stretch. So I always want to try and keep my hips nice and square. So although I'm trying to push my knee forward, I want to push forward as one full unit. And hopefully you can see that I'm cranking into some good hip extension here. And that's how we target this back leg. If I let my hips swivel, I'm not really feeling that same stretch because my body is achieving this position a different way. The only problem is we don't really want to perform our reverse lunges like this. We really want to try and maintain this position, which is why that form is so important. One last thing I'm going to leave you with, a second option that you have here is you can fold your band up so that both halves are one piece. You can grab a hold of that band and then just push that band to the floor. So it's more like you're in a groiner position where you're just focusing on that back leg a little bit more. With any of these positions, it's not a bad idea to noodle around and kind of just wiggle just the slightest bit. If you're having a tough time spending time in that position, those small little oscillations can help make it feel a whole lot more comfortable.